there are artists who are negotiating, or well, who are not negotiating, but who are exploring these conversations. Like for example, I think Leisha's work, particularly the work that's in the show, Leisha's work, for example, in many ways begins to uncover the kind of aggression that exists within the culture. I mean, I don't mean to pull it down to, something incredibly superficial, but we do have two dogs kind of going at it, and when we think about the kind of tribalization, when you think about the kind of tribalization that exists within the Jamaican landscape, there's many ways that we could almost see these two dogs being likened to the two political parties always, fighting. When we look at Charles Campbell's work of the sugarcane field, that references a period in colonial history, a practice. I mean, we still make sugar, maybe not on an international scale really, but on a local scale, we still do make our own sugar. But the sugar plantation references a kind of course, a colonial experience and a kind of colonialized space that also registers a certain kind of violence. And even though in the image we're just looking at, the cane that has fallen, there's a kind of violence that exists on the activation of that surface. Marvin Batley, whose work talks a lot about, deals a lot with sexuality, ideas about colonization and religion, and how religion in many ways has affected or had been the trope on which colonization had happened on. We need to purify these savages, as it to suggest that these people did not have their own systems, their own beliefs, and as it to suggest that this one way of thinking is the only way to think. Yeah, and I think there are many works in the space that echo, and for some reason, in many ways, I feel like there are many works in the show, and other artists who are attempting to deal with the kind of deal with these issues that are unearthed at this time. And I think in many ways the difference between, for example, the people or the significant artists during '62 versus the artists who are the contemporary artists. I think the difference between us both is while at the period of independence, it was a kind of crafting of what is, and also there's a lot of nostalgia associated with those images. So there's a kind of looking on, while I feel like the artists in the 2012 end of the show, they reflect a kind of here and now. This is the moment that we are in, yeah? And there's something I think that is it's interesting to see that kind of juxtaposition, and it's interesting to see how the works and how the space that the works sit in is also charged by that